Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears. Now, don't let that 3-14 record fool you from last season. They are going to be so much more improved, not only with the eye test, but also in the total win column. They're going to win a lot more than 3 football games in this upcoming season. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they were an above 500 team. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were a playoff team. It's all going to come down to Justin Fields. That's it. It's going to come down to JF1, and is he that star QB? Is he? Because I think he is. I know he is one of the best rushing quarterbacks in this league. I know he has a cannon of an arm. I watched him play at Ohio State. We've seen him show so many flashes with the Chicago Bears of that arm talent. He can extend plays, but here's the kicker. There are so many more offensive threats to Justin Fields' disposal this season than there were last year. And if that defense, all the new additions on the defensive side, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, recent addition Yannick Ngakoue, DeMarcus Walker, Andrew Billings, Gervon Dexter, Zach Pickens, if all of these free agent acquisitions and draft picks, if they come in and do their job, this Chicago Bears defense is at worst going to be slightly worse than middle of the pack. I don't think that they will be a worse than 20 defense. If I had to project them, I'd put them somewhere between 15 and 18. And if that's the case, Justin Fields will do Justin Fields things, and the Chicago Bears will win a bunch of football games because I really think he is this star talent. But we're going to talk about some of these threats on the offensive side of things in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. We're actually live here from Chicago, or technically we're live here from Naperville. Gloomy, rainy day, but don't worry, football season is back. Bears fans, if we could try and get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the world to me. If you want more videos, let me know down below. So, when we look at the threats on the offensive side, obviously they revamped their running back room. Now you have Khalil Herbert getting RB1 duties. You brought in D'Onta Foreman. But I want to start it off with the offensive line, okay? Because I get it that there are some question marks, and it's not going to be an elite offensive line starting this upcoming season. But there are a lot of pieces that I really like, specifically late draft pick last year, Braxton Jones, selected in the 5th round out of Southern Utah. It's just a funny story to me because I actually, before I ended up at Loyola Chicago, I went to Southern Utah for a year, and it's just so cool that the starting left tackle, I know of him. I know of him. But the right guard and the right tackle position, just the right side of the offensive line, is going to be a huge deal for this Bears team next year. Justin Fields last season had almost zero time to just sit there and find his guys. He was scrambling, he was extending plays, the offensive line was breaking down, there were stupid, silly mistakes, i.e. penalties. The offensive line was a no-go for the Bears last year. So we see them pick up right guard Nate Davis, an established veteran out of Tennessee, and we see them draft in the 1st round a right tackle, one of the best tackles in the entire, if not the best tackle in the entire draft, in Darnell Wright. That's going to open things up for Khalil Herbert and D'Onta Foreman, which is actually going to be one of the most underrated 1-2 punch duos in the National Football League. And then you have Justin Fields. The Bears were ranked number 1 in total rushing yard last year because David Montgomery can run, Khalil Herbert can run, and Justin Fields can certainly run. So that running back room, that rush attack, is going to be top 5 again last season. If they were the best rushing team in the National Football League with that horrid offensive line, or I should say just extremely inconsistent offensive line, well, it's not perfect yet, right? I still have some questions at center. I still have some questions around Tevin Jennings, but it is vastly improved. If it can just be average next season, if they can give Justin Fields more time than he did last year, he's going to make teams pay because of new addition DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore has pretty much been extremely underrated, under the radar, because of this past season with Carolina, where they were starting Baker Mayfield. They finished the season with Sam Darnold. They had PJ Walker start several games. Matt Rule was their head coach. The Carolina Panthers offense has been, honestly, ever since Matt Rule got there, just abysmal. It has been just abysmal. Extremely inconsistent, not much talent there, nothing. So DJ Moore, as a result, was extremely underutilized because they had basically no passing attack. When we take a look at DJ Moore and his career, extremely young, 26 years old. This is a former first-round pick. He's got drafted in 2018. He spent his first 5 years of his career with Carolina. Prior to this past season, where he still was good, 900 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, he had 3 straight over 1,100 receiving seasons. DJ Moore was establishing himself as a pretty much undisputed wide receiver 1. But because of last year's dysfunctionality within the Carolina Panthers offense and organization as a whole, people just completely forgot about DJ Moore, right? Justin Fields and DJ Moore in camp, all we've been hearing about is their instant chemistry. Instant chemistry. That's music to every Bears fan's ears, because Darnell Mooney is one of the more underrated wide receivers in the National Football League. The Bears have just had a relatively inconsistent offense for a couple of seasons. Mooney dealt with some injuries last year, but prior to that, 2 years ago, in his sophomore campaign, 81 catches, over 1,000 receiving yards. Darnell Mooney, a rising star in the National Football League. Now, I know there's a bunch of questions with Chase Claypool. I'm hopeful. He's a Notre Dame alum. I love Notre Dame. That he just started a fight. We don't really know the full story. I guess we know some of it. I'm not even going to comment on Chase Claypool other than the fact that I'm hopefully optimistic, all right? And I'll leave it at that, because outside of Chase Claypool, they have a new draft pick. Well, first off, they actually have a really solid wide receiver depth in Equanimeous St. Brown, Dante Pettis. Don't forget about Felix Jones Jr., right? Last year's 3rd-round draft pick. Dealt with a lot of drop injuries last year, a lot of fumble issues. Fumble issues last season. But new addition Tyler Scott, who actually led Cincinnati's football team in receiving yards, he comes on in here to the Chicago Bears. And so you have a ton of wide receiver talent and depth. And you also have tight end talent and depth. Now, I'm biased because I went to high school with Cole Kmet, and I sat next to him in a lot of classes, and he's one of the funniest kids you could meet, one of the best kids you could meet. Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, tight end, 1-2 punch duo, two-headed monster. Don't forget about Mercedes Lewis. It's a really solid tight end room. Cole Kmet just got extended, could break out this upcoming season, but if not, Robert Tonyan is a valuable tight end to have on your roster, along with the fact that he can be a big-time red zone threat, like we saw a couple of seasons ago with the Green Bay Packers, where he caught 11 touchdowns. This was in 2020, 600 yards, 60 catches, 11 touchdowns. Great season from Robert Tonyan. You pair him with Cole Kmet and Mercedes Lewis, who's so good at blocking, and he's actually a reliable receiving target still at this point in his career, breaking records with his age. So the Bears added so much talent on both sides of the football, but they already had a bunch of talent on their football team, i.e. Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, Braxton Jones. We didn't even talk about the defense in today's video. We'll talk about that in our next Bears video, but like I said, if that defense is middle of the pack-ish, and this offense is projected to be what we all think it can be, i.e. a top 10 offense, and MVP-esque Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields will be in the MVP convos, but if Justin Fields is that guy this upcoming season, he will definitely be in MVP combos because he's a crazy dual threat QB. The sky's the limit with the Chicago Bears, and it could start this upcoming season. If it doesn't start this upcoming season, we're going to see so many flashes, but the difference between this year and years past is it's going to be at a more consistent rate, and if it's not this year, it's going to be next year that the Bears break out. Nonetheless, their future looks extremely bright. It's a good time to be a Bears fan. Bear down, baby. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, and if you guys enjoyed today's video, let me know down below. But more importantly, give me a comment down below. How many wins do the Chicago Bears finish with this upcoming season?